When the age of fire and ash ended, the world fell into a deep sleep. Temperatures dropped, oceans froze, and our planet was wrapped in a white shroud. We are now standing in the Pleistocene epoch, better known as the Ice Age. To survive in this brutal cold, the rules of nature had to be rewritten. And on the horizon of this white desert, the silhouette of a new empire appeared.
The Woolly Mammoth, the undisputed king of ice and snow. Unlike their ancestors in Africa, they were biological tanks evolved to defeat the cold. Their ears were small to prevent heat loss, and their fur was double-layered. While coarse outer hairs cut the wind, a layer of fine wool underneath kept them warm. But their most iconic feature was their massive curved tusks. These tusks were not just for defense, but were snow shovels used to clear snow and reach the grass beneath. They had to eat 200 kilograms of grass a day, so the herd was constantly on the move. The herd was led by an experienced female leader, the matriarch. Her memory was the herd's map. She knew the water sources and the dangers. But this white paradise was a deadly test for the calf. If it strayed from the herd, freezing to death would take only minutes. But cold wasn't the only danger. There was another scent in the wind. Among the shadows, a ghost with teeth as sharp as knives was tracking them. Smilodon, also known as the saber-toothed tiger. Smilodon was not a modern lion or tiger. It was like a street fighter on steroids. Its forelegs and shoulders were so powerful that it relied solely on muscle power to wrestle its prey to the ground. It was not a marathon runner, but an ambush predator. Explosive power, not speed, was its weapon. But the real gift evolution gave it was the two deadly daggers it carried in its mouth. These teeth could reach 20 centimeters, yet they were surprisingly fragile. They couldn't crush bone. If struck in the wrong place while the prey thrashed, the tooth could snap at the root. That's why Smilodon had to work with surgical precision. It could open its jaws a full 120 degrees. That is twice as wide as a modern lion. The tactic was simple. Wrestle it down first, then sink those long teeth into the soft tissue, the throat. Death would come in seconds via suffocation or blood loss. But the mammoth herd was not as easy a meal as a bison. A single blow from an adult mammoth could snap a Smilodon's spine like a toothpick. So the hunter waited patiently for a mistake, a weakness, a break in the herd's rhythm. In the Ice Age, not only the strong survived, but those who saw opportunities. As dawn broke, another giant of the White Desert was waking up. Not as big as the mammoth, but far more aggressive. The woolly rhinoceros, a living wall made of 2 tons of rage and muscle. It carried 2 massive horns on its nose. The front horn was over 1 meter long. These horns were not bone, but compressed hair. Yet, They were hard enough to impale an attacker. Its eyesight was very poor, so it would attack first and ask questions later. Deep in the tundra wandered a king so majestic he could barely carry his own head. Megaloceros, the Irish elk. Its antler span reached up to 4 meters. This was equivalent to a deer carrying 2 motorcycles on its head. They had to regrow this massive weight every spring, a testament to nature's extravagance. But beyond the ice, in the milder plains of South America, evolution's strangest experiment was wandering. Megatherium, the giant ground sloth, the 4-ton ancestor of today's small tree-dwelling sloths. It was as heavy as an elephant, and when rearing up on its hind legs, it reached 6 meters. It could look a giraffe in the eye. The claws on its hands exceeded 30 centimeters, longer even than the teeth of a Smilodon. But these terrifying claws were not for killing, but for pulling branches and eating massive avocados. It moved slowly because no predator was crazy enough to attack an adult Megatherium. Hidden under its skin were thousands of small bone pieces, osteoderms, protecting it like chainmail armor. It was the most peaceful tank nature ever created. Until the bipeds with spears arrived. On the horizon, a new predator appeared, walking on 2 legs, furless but commanding fire. Human, possessing neither claws nor sharp teeth, but armed with the deadliest weapon, intelligence. Fire turned night into day and conquered the darkness that other animals feared. Mammoths might be massive, but humans were organized. They coordinated like a wolf pack. When they threw their spears, they used not just muscle power, but the physics of leverage. This was a war nature had never seen before. Biology versus technology. The climate was changing, the glaciers were melting, and these new predators were increasing the pressure. The end of the giants came not with a meteor, but with 1,000 small cuts and a warming world. Today, their bones lie silently in museums. But if you look closely, you can still see the spirit of that old world. Perhaps they didn't leave, they just stepped back to make room for us.